Hill of Freedom is a Hong Sang-soo film. It's one of his shortest. It's only a little over an hour long. It's about a Japanese man named Mori, and he sends some letters to a woman he loves named Kwan. However, she drops the letters and starts reading them, and we sort of get different out-of-order snippets of his time in Korea. He stays at a guest house and meets the owner, a kind lady, and also her nephew, who's a bit of a bum. Very eccentric, confrontational bum. Also, he hangs out at a cafe, though, and rescues the dog of the lady who runs the place, or works there. And she sort of has a crush on him, and the cafe is called Hill of Freedom. So it's basically just, you know, little snippets of him hanging around, waiting for her to show up. And honestly, even though the movie's short, it does have some great sequences with the nephew of the old lady. He basically is, we don't find out much about him at first, but he's very confrontational and annoying. Drinks too much, starts, like, you know, getting in people's faces. There's this great sequence where he tries to say hi to this woman who's writing in a diary, and then there's this huge freak out. It's a great sequence. Most of the conflict comes from him, though. The rest of the characters are sort of just there. You know, besides that, the movie's just okay. I mean, besides the darkly comedic freakout sequences with that one character, not much else goes on with the main character. He's sort of just waiting around for someone and hanging out with this cafe lady. Not much to do on that regard, but it is short and sweet and simple, so I give Hill of Freedom a 5 out of 10. Woman on the Beach is an extra movie within the disc of Hill of Freedom, so that's why I reviewed it. Woman on the Beach is actually one of his longest films, which is a nice contrast. Hong Sang-soo directs this film about actually, I'll open up the DVD. Yes, it is about Jung-rae. He is a director who's suffering from writer's block, so he invites his friend and his friend's girlfriend to come to the beach. It's like a beach sort of place. You know, they have to, like, drive there, go on a road trip. And he starts falling for his friend's girlfriend, and when he finds out that they're not really together, he starts making moves on her and trying to get rid of him. There's a really great, interesting scene at the beginning, really awkward social conventions, but this is actually one of Hong Sang-soo's better films, in my opinion. It is longer, but it is the most accessible because it plays out like a rom-com, basically. There's no heavy symbolism or anything. There's a little bit here and there, but overall it's about this cat of a director making the moves on this woman, and then flip-flopping on her, being really fickle. You know, after she chooses him, they go back to the mainland, or they go back to the city or whatever, and he's kind of like, I'm kind of like feeling like not doing this, and then she goes fine. So then when she drops off contact, he literally picks a rebound at random, interviews her, and takes her to the same beach place of sorts. And actually, yes, this DVD says it's a wicked comedy of manners, for sure, because our main character, he's really wishy-washy. He finds out some stuff about her when they're drinking, and it's a really immature thing to have, but it feels very human. It feels very realistic for him to just have that sort of prejudice against her for the littlest thing. And then after he brings the other woman to the sort of seaside area with the inns and stuff, she shows up too, and it becomes really awkward because a sort of love triangle forms. Some great awkward moments, really realistic characters, a little bit of symbolism at the end. Really not a satisfying ending, but it's a really comfortable ending. Everything sort of just falls into place. I really liked the way the awkwardness definitely just blossoms, and the movie's long enough to have some space to breathe for these characters. You know, they have enough to do. They're not just talking all the time. There's also some, like, walks on the beach and things like that, and I really like the way they interact with each other. So The Woman on the Beach is, for me, is one of the more stronger Hong Sang-soo drama films. It's got a lot more comedic value. I feel it's more accessible of his films. Be a great starting point if you're not sure where to watch his movies, and honestly, it's on par with some of his better later works. So I give Woman on the Beach a 7.5 out of 10.